y'all, it's happening. The trial that has the entire industry shaking just took a wild, jaw-dropping turn, and guess whose name just came flying out of nowhere and hit the courtroom floor like a wrecking ball? Usher Raymond. Yes, baby. Are y'all even ready to see Usher, Mr. Confessions himself, possibly take the stand against Diddy? Word on the street is Usher was one of the many names subpoenaed to testify. Testify about what, you ask? Oh, honey, about what really went down at the Diddy flavor camp. And baby, you're not ready for the tea.
I mean, the jury had a whole night to process the disturbing details of these freak-offs that were laid out yesterday through the eyes of Cassie Ventura. The graphic details, the alleged abuse, the drug abuse. Today, they didn't have to use their imagination, though. It got real in that courtroom today when the jurors, not the public, not the press, when the jurors saw still screenshots from these freak-offs. There was something so uncomfortable about the moment. Watching the jurors see something so raw and so personal in a courtroom full of eyes and full of opinions. Cassie was the most emotional we've seen her. At times even reflecting when she heard the words come out of her mouth, saying things like, "I can't believe I dealt with that." And you gotta understand, these aren't gigantic courtrooms. Cassie and Diddy are not at opposite ends of a football field. They are feet from one another. And the only thing between them really are their lawyers. And even though all eyes were on each of them, I don't think they ever looked directly at each other. Not when she walked by him, not when she was testifying, not when at times she broke down sobbing, remembering how she loved him and just wanted him to say sorry for the things that he had done. Now, when she talked about not wanting to live anymore, or her opioid addiction, or lying to her mother about the abuse or when it started or the extent of it, the audience was shifting uncomfortably. And sometimes so did she.
But hold up. It's about to get even messier. Like, you thought you knew scandal? Enter Kim Porter. Yes, the Kim Porter. Allegedly, sis left behind something so explosive it could set that courtroom ablaze. A recording, y'all. That's right. A recording that's gonna make jaws drop. And not just some gossip tape. We're talking about a voicemail from the grave, played in open court. Now let's pause. What did Kim know? What did she see? And if she really had recordings, why keep them? For protection, insurance, or maybe just cold hard receipts in case Diddy tried to flip the narrative. Let's keep it real. Kim was right there, front row center during some of Diddy's most twisted moments. If anyone had dirt on Diddy, it was her. That woman was no fool. And with everything bubbling out now, this ain't just a trial, it's a real life Netflix documentary, and we're still in episode 1. So what really went down? Insiders say Kim allegedly had video footage from their days at Uptown Records. Because guess what? Apparently Diddy has this obsession with recording everything. And Kim, she got curious. She reportedly started digging through surveillance footage because she felt like Diddy was playing her. And baby, she hit the jackpot. Or should we say, the horror show. Because allegedly, Kim stumbled upon a video of Diddy and Andre Harrell getting hot and heavy. You heard that right. Allegedly doing the do. She didn't go looking for that mess, but it found her. When she confronted Andre about it, Sheila, he denied it all, but Kim didn't stop there. Oh no, she kept digging. And what she allegedly found next left her shattered. Another tape. Some excerpts apparently got leaked. One bombshell. Usher's mom reportedly confronted Diddy about being inappropriate with her son after learning the truth. Like, what? But y'all, wait. There's more. Before Kim passed away, her house got mysteriously burglarized. And wanna guess what was stolen? Just her. Laptop, no jewelry, no cash, no passports, just her computer. You don't have to be Sherlock Holmes to know what's up. That wasn't a robbery, that was a targeted cleanup mission. And now whispers are saying that very recording, the one that was allegedly stolen, WATW, someone pour me some ice water. Let's rewind a bit and talk about Usher's connection to Diddy. He was first signed to LaFace Records as a teenager, right? But when things got rough and Usher's voice started cracking from puberty, the record label was ready to drop him. That's when Diddy swooped in like some industry savior and said, I got him, just trust me. So Usher's mom handed over her teenage son to live with Diddy in New York, trusting him. Let that sink in. Usher would later say that what he saw and experienced at the now infamous Puffy Flavor camp was shocking. His words, not ours. And guess what else he said? That as a father himself, he would never let his kid attend that place.
She testified about having to hide under a toilet to get away from Diddy. She revealed getting a gash by her eyebrow after he threw it into a bed frame in front of her friends. She said she got stomped in the face on the floor of Diddy's Escalade for the duration of a ride home. And she claimed throughout their time together that she felt, well, powerless to make the choice to escape. Now, to make her point, Cassie talked about going to a hotel when Diddy beat her after a party in Los Angeles. She said she didn't want to stay, but felt she couldn't leave. She testified, quote, "It was not safe. I didn't have the resources I needed to get out and move, to get out and not have anybody stop me." You know, Cassie went on to say, I understood Sean's capabilities, his access to guns, and the threats that he made prior to that. Cassie clarified her testimony from yesterday as well, saying that there were times that she did try to fight back or even initiated violence. She testified she did so earlier on in their relationship, but she quickly found out it could backfire, telling the prosecutors, quote, that it could escalate the fight more and make it worse for myself. When the prosecutor asked what she meant by that, Cassie said, quote, just make him more violent, make him stronger. Want to push me harder in that situation.
Usher was even asked about his time at Puffy Flavor Camp in an interview for Essence magazine. At first, he was chill, talking business, album plans, expanding his brand like a mini mogul, real cute. But when the reporter brought up his time with Diddy, his whole vibe changed. Usher got quiet, real quiet. He said, and I quote, I want to save some of this for my book one day. I'll put it this way, there was a lot of sex. Whew, the man said that on record. And it's not just interviews. Usher's name has come up in multiple lawsuits related to Diddy, like Lil Rod's explosive claims where he said Diddy bragged about getting intimate with an artist who performed at the Super Bowl and had a Vegas residency. Who does that sound like? Then there's Dawn Richards' lawsuit where she dropped a bombshell about Diddy allegedly attacking Cassie at a fancy dinner party. And guess who was there? Yup. Usher. She said it clear as day. Usher, Neo, and Jimmy Iovine witnessed it. They saw Diddy allegedly punch Cassie in the stomach while whisper screaming at her in public in front of A-list industry insiders. And what happened? Miss Clark had to carry Cassie out while Diddy stayed back like nothing happened, like it was just another Tuesday. What? Said he can't understand why Usher ever praises Diddy. 'Cause people who were there, they know what happened. They remember. And that makes Usher's silence even more haunting.
You know, Cassie also described the leverage, that's the word she used, leverage Diddy had over her. She said that leverage came in the form of blackmail, those videos specifically of the freak-offs. She testified that Diddy threatened to release them when he got angry. Cassie said, quote, one time I dated someone else, and that is what it was all about. I'm going to put out 2 embarrassing videos of you. He just wanted to hurt me. Now, Cassie's direct testimony is actually now over. The defense, though, they're going to get their chance to cross-examine her and go into the details again tomorrow morning. I want to begin with CNN entertainment correspondent Elizabeth Wagmeister, who you and I have been bosom buddies in this court. We've been sitting next to each other watching it all go down, and you have a unique perspective on all this and the coverage you've been doing. Talk to me, though, about the scope and of the violence and the intimidation that she laid out in court today.
Yeah, Laura, so as you said, her first day of testimony yesterday really focused on these freak-offs. Today focused on the physical abuse, the domestic violence. This was the first time that the jury saw photographic evidence of the injuries. You mentioned this gash on her eyebrow. We saw bruises all over her body, a black eye, a fat lip. I want to walk you through just some of the instances that Cassie brought up when she testified today. One time she said that she and her girlfriends, they went to Prince's party. Yes, the musician Prince. Diddy was there. He didn't know she was going to be there. He got angry and she said, quote, he beat me up. She said that after they broke up in 2018, that he raped her in her living room at her home.
Notice how uncomfortable Usher looks when Diddy starts getting too friendly, especially when Diddy goes off scrim with those jokes. Like that one time on Kevin Hart's show when Diddy said he and Usher used to wake up together.
They're showing an incident from Toronto. She said she put her hair over her eye. to hide a bruise, and then they went to the Hamptons. She said that Sean Combs wanted to then have a freak off in the Hamptons, so they got a hotel and an escort. She said that the escort was named Dave. She took the drug GHB, and she went into a G-hole, which sounds like some type of blackout. She woke up and she was naked in the shower, and Dave and Sean were freaking out. I bugged out. It wasn't pretty, is what she said in the testimony. She said, then what? Ventura responded, I spoke to a friend of Sean's, and then we had a freak off. And then they showed another photograph, and it shows her eyebrow that had healed up a little bit a week later, and she has a permanent scar on her eyebrow, she said, from this. And she is shown another photo from the Cannes Film Festival. She said Sean accused her of taking drugs from his boat and threw her off of the boat, but her passport was still on the boat. She was on the red carpet for some type of event that night, and she said she attended the movie. They then went to New York. There was a commercial flight that they took. She traded her seat to get away, but he traded to get next to her. What did he show you? Freak off videos. So we've heard about this, him showing videos and then using that as kind of blackmail material, if you will. She said that he played the freak off videos for me on one of his laptops. He said he would release them. So that's some pretty compelling evidence.
Usher's face was like pang. He couldn't even hide it. Awkward doesn't even begin to describe it. And then Diddy started gushing about how fly Usher was and how he used to eat cereal in his kitchen.
Cassie can talk about and identify the sex workers that may have been involved, identify the locations, because again, in order for this to be a federal case, you've got to cross state lines. So if you have to establish that these activities happened in New York, happened in Miami, happened in California, that you were forcibly transferred or had to travel to each of these different locations. So the videos are going to be important from that perspective. But again, I don't think everybody's going to sit there and, watch, sex tape after sex tape after sex tape and watch Cassie be, basically and brutalized 10 different ways from sunrise. I don't see that happening, but I do see some snippets coming in. But I do got to say one more thing, because my inner prosecutor wants to go after what Brad said.
Yeah, I had a feeling Melba was going to have something to say about what Bradford was saying. So go on, Melba.
Yeah. But most importantly,
I think that Melba's bringing the velvet hammer to you,
Oh,
Bradford,
Melba's
not a velvet
great.
glove, a velvet hammer.
Melba's
So
fantastic.
go on,
She's
Melba.
always been fantastic. I welcome it.
Well, one thing I will say, first of all, is that sadly, I think all of us know people who have stayed in abusive relationships for a lifetime. And we know people that have died as a result of domestic violence relationships.
OLO. Sir, what? Now let's be real. If Usher takes the stand, you know the defense will try to dig up all his past drama. And trust me, he's had his fair share. Let's not forget the herpes scandal. Quantasia Sharpton, Jane Doe, and John Doe all came forward saying Usher allegedly exposed them to STDs without warning. They sued for unspecified damages. Jane Doe claimed she even lost her twins because of the infection. Then there was that John Doe who claimed he met Usher at a Koreatown spa in LA and contracted herpes from him too. And don't get me started on the source who spilled about Usher being too comfortable at a gay club. After a performance, the group allegedly went out partying and they ended up at a gay nightclub because, well, most of the group was gay. The source said Usher got real close with an older gentleman there, like face-to-face close, like they about to kiss. Close. It shocked everyone, but the source was like, this is Chelsea, anything goes. And when asked if Usher had fun, they said, oh, I know he did. Look, court is brutal. Cross-examination is no joke. If Usher really testifies, he better be ready for them to drag out every skeleton in his designer closet. But back to Kim Porter, there's a twist, a huge one, because while her laptop was stolen, insiders believe Kim was no fool. She allegedly shared her story, her audio clips, maybe even a manuscript with trusted people before she died. Allegedly, parts of her story, the videos, the tapes, the unpublished book were quietly handed out to close friends and family. So here's the question. What if someone's been holding on to that bombshell material all this time? What if it's already in the prosecution's hands? What if this was her final play? Because Kim saw too much, she knew too much, and in this trial, her voice might still be the one that destroys Diddy from beyond the grave. So buckle up, y'all, we're just getting started. started. And tell me in the comments, are you ready for that Usher recording to be played in court? Now listen, if this Kim Porter voicemail actually plays in court with all those powerful men sitting there squirming in their tailored suits, baby, it's gonna be like someone dropped a bomb in that courtroom, because we're talking about Diddy's former partner, the mother of his children, essentially reaching from the beyond to expose secrets they prayed would stay buried. And y'all, let's not forget, this isn't just tea, this is evidence. Evidence that could change everything in this case. Because if Kim really did capture footage of Diddy with Andre Harrell and then with Usher too, and then backed it up with her own narration or a manuscript, honey, it's giving full-on takedown energy. And let's go deeper here. Remember how Kim was literally in the thick of the industry's messiest moments? She was right there when Diddy was building his empire. She was around Uptown Records. She knew the players. She knew the politics. She saw it all, which means anything she recorded, it's not just hearsay. It's first-hand insider receipts. Let's also talk about that mysterious break-in again. But seriously, who breaks into a celebrity's home and walks out with just a laptop? Not cash, not jewelry, not even designer bags. Nah, they took the data like a stealth operation. Silent, intentional, it screams cleanup. And it raises the question, who ordered it? Was it someone scared of what Kim had? Was it about burying what she knew? Because clearly, she didn't keep those files for fun. No one risked that kind of heat unless they were scared, and from the way this is unraveling, Kim had every reason to be. But get this, despite the break-in, there are whispers that not everything was lost. Some insiders say Kim had already passed along the juiciest parts of her story to people she trusted. Friends, family, quiet confidants, folks who knew exactly what to do if something happened to her. So now imagine this. Kim's voicemail plays, the jury is leaning forward, the whole courtroom is silent, and suddenly her voice is heard, clear as day, chilling, calm, maybe even emotional, telling the truth she couldn't say while she was alive, revealing names, dates, descriptions, and confirming the rumors the industry always whispered but never said out loud. That moment, it would break the internet. And what about Usher? If the defense really tries to flip things and drag him, they're going to pull out everything. From the STD allegations to the gay club rumors to his very public discomfort around Diddy. They'll try to paint him as unreliable, conflicted, or even complicit. But here's the twist. Maybe that's exactly why he's been so quiet all these years. Maybe he's been hiding in plain sight, praying the past wouldn't catch up. But now, the past just got subpoenaed. And let's be honest, Usher ain't no rookie. He's navigated scandal before. But this is a whole different level. This is federal trial, high stakes, allegations of abuse, exploitation, grooming, violence, and he's in the center of it all. So how does he play it? If he testifies truthfully, he could help take Diddy down for good. But if he stays quiet or tries to deny too much, the prosecution could turn on him too, especially if there's video proof. And what about the public? They're already watching this trial like it's the Super Bowl of celebrity crime. And with every new leak, every clip, every transcript, every whisper from behind courtroom doors, the internet is set on fire. People are already side-eyeing past interviews, digging up old footage, rewatching that awkward Kevin Hart moment, replaying the cereal kitchen clip, connecting dots that used to feel random but now look like red flags the size of billboards. This case isn't just about Diddy anymore, it's about the culture of silence, the way power protects itself, and the way truth, especially when it comes from a woman like Kim Porter, can rise up even after death and demand to be heard. Because Kim, she didn't just leave behind a laptop, she left behind a legacy of truth-telling, of bravery, of refusing to let the big dogs get away clean. And if her final act is to expose the monster she once loved, then baby, she deserves a statue. And y'all better believe the whole world will be watching when that tape plays. So here's what we know for sure. Kim had recordings, allegedly of Diddy with Andre Harrell and with Usher. Her house was broken into, the laptop gone. Usher has talked about shocking things he saw at Puffy Flavor Camp. He said as a dad, he'd never let his kid go there. He's been uncomfortable on record around Diddy, visibly squirming when Diddy made strange comments. He was named in lawsuits involving Diddy, including one where he allegedly witnessed abuse against Cassie. He has his own past scandals, including STD allegations, lawsuits, and questionable typical club behavior that could be used to discredit him in court. Kim's story may live on through trusted friends or family and could already be in the hands of prosecutors. So now the question isn't just will Usher testify? The question is, what will he say? And will he finally tell the truth the whole world's been waiting to hear? And what happens if he doesn't? Because one thing is clear, the court doesn't need Usher's words if it has Kim's receipts. And if that voicemail says what people say it says, there might be no coming back for Diddy. We're witnessing the fall of a media empire. A man who once ruled music, fashion, television, reduced to court documents, exposed secrets, and haunted by the words of the woman he couldn't silence. So don't blink, y'all, because this trial, it's just getting started. And if Kim Porter really is the voice that brings this whole thing crashing down, then justice might be coming. Stay tuned. And let us know in the comments, do you think Usher's gonna spill the truth on the stand? Or is Kim Porter's voicemail all the court will need?